are going to look another model. So another model are going to explain about this one is an intervening variables. So intervening variable is a complex model. It's a complex model where we need to investigate another factors that might be associated with our factors also. So this one is the complex model. Of course, you are not going to use this kind of model because this is for the advanced one. If you are doing your master's or PhD, even your degree also, you cannot do it like this. Not cannot do lah. I mean, you can manage to do, but it's not encouraged because we're afraid that you might tend to do the bias. Okay, the next one is the types of variables. So you must also understand there are two types of variables. The first one we call it as a quantitative variables. That means they have a numeric evidence or numeric data. They got a numeric data. So numeric data we call it as a quantitative. And another one we got a qualitative or we got it as a categorical data. So the difference between the categorical and the quantitative is about the dimensions of the numeric element. One we call it as alphanumeric or non-metric. And another one we call it as a numeric data. So non-alphanumeric or non-metric ini maksud dia defined as you got something that nothing to do with numbers, but you are using the numbers so that the computer can understand what you instruct to them. For example, I'm saying the gender just now, male and female. In the SPSS or in any analytical software, sometimes we need to define one is actually male, two is female. Why? Because we want to giving the attributes so that the computer know the one is male, the two is female. Because the computer cannot compute the words. Faham tak? Therefore, you need to understand about the quantitative variables and qualitative variables. Qualitative variables can be defined as follows. For example, you got something category on color, blood type. Blood type is example of the qualitative data sebab dia dalam bentuk kategori kan. Kemudian we have another brand. You know brand? Car brand. Car brand also is also considered as the qualitative data. Shirt color. Correct or not? Shirt color. You got white color, you got purple color, you got blue color, black color, yellow color, whatsoever. So all of that are considered qualitative data, categorical data. Understand already, okay? This one is simple one. Okay, the next one is the data itself. So as you know and as you understand before, I already explained to you the data consists of two primary, secondary. This is tool to get the data collection. Usually I'm going to use the online questionnaire. Even I'm going to investigate some cases related to the airborne contaminants inside this college also, I'm going to use the online questionnaire to speed up the time and also speed up and saving my time. So actually the research can be done faster. The service can also be done faster, provided that you are utilizing the technology very well. Unfortunately, if you see in the healthcare setting, sometimes they are mixing all the technology. They are using hard copy, soft copy, hard copy, soft copy. In the end of the day, corrupt. Corrupt maksudnya still nak bagi servis tu lambat juga. So this one can be improved if you got a very good ideas in managing data using technology. Now we are talking about big data and so on. Unfortunately, maybe our country are starting to develop these things, new theories, and then a lot of people like you in front of my eyes need to understand all these things. Otherwise, if you don't understand how you want to give the good services, okay? So majority of you already use the online system kan before. Your hospital also using the online system or still using the hard copy one? Online system kan? Okay, and then some of the hospital also masih guna lagi mesin type kan? Ke dah tak pakai dah? Ketak-ketak cek, pakai dah kan? Okay, just kidding lah because sometimes even we have a technology, but our mind is not transformed. We still think like we are in the past, you know. Our doctrine, our way of thinking, that one also need to transform. We need to think like a modern people. Telephone survey is also one of the good things. Mail questionnaire, direct observation, and personal interview. So it's all up to you. It's all up to your approach. So in my example just now about the patients and also their associated factors with their retrospective exposure to the occupational setting, perhaps you can use the personal interviews. You can personal interview them, and then you can also look into their history. But if you are doing PhD or master, perhaps you can go and visit their workplace to see the exposure is high, low, and so on and so forth. Therefore, sometimes to prevent the cancer is a multiple discipline. You cannot work your own inside the hospital just providing services. No need. No, it's no use for you just to treat the patient if the patient keep increasing over the time, correct? So the best thing to do is you must simultaneously provide some information to provide ideas to the primary setting. Primary setting maksudnya orang yang dekat preventive ni. So that they can educate, they can give good treatment before you got the stage of cancer. Okay, just to give you some ideas lah. Perhaps this is only my humble opinion. Okay, sometimes it's true, sometimes not true. Okay, you just go back, read and listen to this video and then think about it. Okay, so now we are going to learn the most important part. So most of you cannot distinguish between the scale of measurement. Now focus very good on these explanations, otherwise you are not going to fly. Okay, after you understand this 4 scale of measurement, then you are able to fly without wing. Okay, the first one, we are talking about nominal. We call it as a nominal scale. This is the lowest scale. Lowest means that this is the cheapest one. A very, very not good data collection process or data being gathered from the researcher. I took one example. I'm asking about your age. The first example, I want you to fill up the blank and put your years of age. Okay, and then the next one, I put something like this: 20, 25, 26, 30, and then the next one more than 30. So which one that you think is much more better? The first one or the second one? The second one. Very good. The second one are much more better because it cannot go more than that. Understand? Cannot more than that means that is wrong lah. The best one, the good one is actually the first one, because you can ask anything about the age. Then people will put here 20, 22, 23, 24, correct? And then 22 plus 24 plus 25, can you calculate the mean? You can calculate for the first approach. The second approach, can you calculate the mean? Cannot. Apa dia? Cannot, because if you tick here, you will count how many people tick this one. You are not calculating the real mean. You are calculating the real people who tick that box. So that is the very critical part if you ask a question. Even this simplest question also will give you 2 different scale of measurement. It's either you got the nominal, which is the lower scale, or you got the interval, which is the very good scale for you to measure the extra analysis. You know, extra analysis means that you can know the mean, you can know the standard deviation. Okay, understand or not understand? So for those who are thinking that this one is the best one, I want you to revise back and rethink back about this. Otherwise, you are not going to interpret nicely your data. I'm so sorry, I have to take this call. Can I take this call? Let us continue our discussion about the scale of measurement. So the scale of measurement, the first one is nominal scale. As I mentioned to you, this is the lower scale. Number assigned to identify the attributes, no order or sequence. Means that we cannot put anything, but we teach the computer to put numbers. So the numbers doesn't mean anything. The numbers is just to become an indicator so that the computer can make the calculation. So the computer can count how many males, how many females. If you just put them male and female, it's hard for you to count, correct? But the computer have the mind to count, provided that you assign it first. Okay, this is by using the SPSS lah. Okay, this is the nominal scale. So make sure you understand that nominal is a categorical data. But sometimes it is like that. For example, male and female or gender. Gender memang you tak boleh nak bagi nombor kan? Takkan nak bagi nombor apa kan? Nombor hormon estrogen. Tak mungkin, susah. Paling senang tanya je. What is your gender? Correct or not correct? So sometimes it's not applicable and it's not appropriate for you to make your life uneasy lah. So the best thing to do is you must define first your variables. So make sure if you have the ability to make the variables to become numeric, then you ask for numeric data. For example kan, you tanya orang tu, are you short or long? Dengan you tanya dia punya tinggi. Kan lain, betul tak? Short and long dia mungkin based on dia punya perception. Aku rasa aku tinggi kot. So dia tanda tinggi. Kalau dia gila, dia tanda dua-dua, saya tinggi dan rendah. Contoh. So that is very difficult for you to analyze, especially to know the anthropometric measurements that the real conditions will be provided by those responses. Okay. Therefore, the nominal scale is the lowest part. So try to avoid this nominal scale. But remember, sometimes we cannot avoid lah. Education. Contoh kan, education. You boleh tanya apa education? What is your latest education, your highest education kan? Then people can tick. Okay, your highest education. And also you can ask for CGPA. Whatever it is lah, kalau you nak ask CGPA, you nak put inside the box or you want to fill in the blank? Up to you. But the question is, if you ask them to fill in a blank, make sure you give example. Otherwise, they will make you a stupid people. For example, you ask them to fill up the age just now, kan? Fill up your age. You don't give example, then they will write for you. 7 years old. They not write 7. They write as a word now. 7 years old. Ini akan menyebabkan you are wasting your time to revert back into the numbers. So make sure that if you ask them to fill in the blank, you give them an examples. Okay. The next one is the ordinal. Ordinal data is similarly but not so similar with the nominal because the nominal data contain order. Contain what? Order. The ranking order. The order list. For example, if you are talking about the medal, you know medal? Medal kan, the first one will get gold, correct or not? The second one will get silver. The third one we got bronze. Okay, so the very good one will got platinum. Platinum is not in the list because this one is given by God. Tak adalah gurau je. So maknanya this one got order, gold, silver and bronze. This one is the order. So the order is actually give you some ideas. This is the ordinal scale. Same also goes to the perception. So after you finish a certain procedure or after you finish a certain workshop, usually you fill up the form, right? So the lecture is what? Good or not? 1, poor. 5 is good. First you ask about the voice. The voice is good or not? Bad. The next one about the height. The height also bad. Contoh. Okay. And the words using is not good. So that is the example of the ordinal scale. Okay. Understand already? Ordinal scale, Make sure you choose the appropriate scale. The next one is the interval and the next one is a ratio. Interval and ratio inside the SPSS, both of these scale are being defined as scale data. This one nanti you akan nampak symbol of nominal data. This one you akan nampak symbols of the ordinal scale. But interval and ratio are being considered as scale data inside the SPSS or statistical software. So what is the difference between the interval and ratio? The interval and ratio have a big differences in terms of their zero and their ability to make the ratio. For example, if you are talking about interval, we are talking about the zero that have no meaning. Or the zero actually doesn't mean anything to you. For example, kan, I'm asking about your IQ and then your IQ is 0. Does that mean you are stupid? No. That doesn't mean you are stupid. That's mean that you don't want to answer. That's mean that you put my question inside the shred machine, you know. Stupid question, you shred the question. So you got 0. Does that mean you are stupid? No, because you don't answer. So that one we call it as a non-arbitrary zero. The zero have no meaning. So the first one, the interval scale, the zero has no absolute zero. And the ability to make it ratio. If you are Ahmad, you got 100 in your marks for your IQ. If you got twins, is that Ahmad times by 2 got 200? No, no meaning also by ratio. So that is the example of the interval. Okay, for our case, I took one example, it's very simple. In terms of your blood composition, sometimes our blood composition got range kan, daripada 0 until something. For a certain measurement that you want to use. So that one is considered ratio, not interval, because the 0 got meaning. Okay, the difference here is 0 got meaning or 0 doesn't got meaning. So if your 0 does contain some meaning, example, you know car, when car stop, the acceleration is what? 0, right? So when 0, the car is stop. So that means 0 got meaning. When 100, the car is mencanak, correct or not? Something like that. So that we call ratio data. And also, if you want to know the ratio or you understand the ratio, you must also can visualize the ratio-ness, the ability to make it ratio. I got a pencils measured 2 centimeters. If I put 2 more pencils, it becomes 4. It can be ratio. That one we call it a ratio data. Okay, so majority of your data must be, or I advise you, must be collected in this form. It's either interval or ratio, whatever that you want to compute or analyze, in my opinion, so that you can make further analysis more beautiful. You can understand more, rather than you just collect the nominal scale or nominal data. But usually majority of you will collect the data in the form of ordinal scale. You know ordinal scale? You are going to ask them about their knowledge, and then please mark 1 as disagree, 5 very agree. So that kind of questionnaire, we call it as an ordinal scale. The beautiful about the ordinal scale, you can calculate the index. You can calculate the index into the interval scale. Okay, to visualize this thing more easier, did you remember or know about the DASS questionnaire? Do you know that or you do not know that? DASS is Depression, Anxiety, Stress Score, available in your KK. You know that or you don't know? Or you don't go to KK? You don't go to KK, so therefore you do not know the DASS, correct? So DASS consists of 21 questions, measure your anxiety, depressions, and also stress. So if you see that questionnaire is actually using the ordinal scale, that ordinal scale then being computed or being calculated or being some method using the interval base. So therefore they got some range lah, from 0 to 17. So if you got higher certain condition, so probably you are more stressful than others. So if you don't believe me, just go back after this or just search inside your internet DASS question, and they have the Malay version also, so that you can test your stress, whether you are stressful or not. So if you are not stressful, welcome to the hell. Okay, so this is the order of the scale properties. The least one or the lowest one, we call it as nominal, and then the best one, the very good one, we call it as a ratio. So if you encounter any nominal scale or nominal data, make sure that you give the name or you making clear about the attributes. The attributes here can you can set it up during your analysis, your pre-analysis procedure. This one I will share with you how to do that in the workshop tomorrow. So hopefully all the videos that already been captured yesterday, 2 days ago, you can refer it first today lah, even though when you go back you do not refer any books lah. Okay, hopefully that's why I said what hopefully. Okay, hopefully you can refer. Okay, the next one is the determination of the scale of measurement, two-step procedure. So this is the idea if you want to identify what kind of data that you have. So the first one is your data. Is your data alphanumeric or your data is numeric? It's all up to you. You must ask yourself first. Oh, my data is alphanumeric. Means that no value of numbers. So if your data no values, got order or no order? I think my variables got order. What is your variable? Gender. Okay, how we want to make it as the order? Male is 1, female is 2. No. Male and female do not get order, correct? Same also goes with the number of pelangi is what? Rainbow. Rainbow color got order? No order. Even though the order is merah, jingga, kuning, hijau, biru, gold, ungu is just an indicator. But to be true, there is no number, correct or not? So it is not the ordinal, it is a nominal data. So the ordinal must have the order list. For example, the medal just now. The medal, if you got silver, that means you are number 2. You memang number 2. Okay, if you got gold, that means you are gold medalist. That means you are number 1. Very good. You have become number 1 or you want to become number 2? Don't understand, never mind. Good. The next one is the 0. So the 0 means that your numeric got 0 or not got 0. If your numeric got 0, so that one we call it, if your 0 is not there or the 0 do not contain any meaning, then therefore we call it as an interval, and then if got meaning, we call it as the ratio. Okay, let us take example. This is just example of the data. Okay, we got a program of study. Your program of study ADOC, right? Advanced Diploma Oncology. So it is a nominal lah. Okay, we got the speed ratio, we got motivator score, interval, income category, ordinal, number of SMS, ratio, marital status, nominal. Okay, quality of life, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So you can refer to this note after this. Okay, this is the overview of the statistics. So this is what we are going to learn today. So I'm going to make sure that you understand all of this, okay? The first one, we are going to describe our data in the phenomena. The first one, we are going to use the frequency or percentage. So the frequency and percentage as indicated here is dedicated for the nominal data. Okay, I make a repetition. This one, frequency and percentage are dedicated for nominal data. That means if I'm asking about the gender, I can only represent the gender by using the proportion base. Male 2 over the 29, how many percent? Female 27 over 29, how many percent? Only that particular presentations of data available for that kind of data. So that is the limitations of the nominal scale. Okay. The next one is MCT. MCT are talking about measurement of central tendency, consists of measurement of center. It's either mean, mode, or median. It's all up to you what you want to choose. It depends on the characteristic of data with B in the tabulations of data. The next one is measurement of dispersion. Is also need to be considered the tabulation of data. If your data normal, then you must present using mean as their center and their standard deviation as their dispersion. Understand or not? If your data normal. If you see your data is normal, then you must present your findings using mean as a center, standard deviation as the dispersion. If your data is not normal, then you are using the median as the center and you are using the interquartile range for the dispersion. Okay, never mind. This one I will describe one by one after this. Okay, the next one is this phenomena or this, sorry, not phenomena. This one is idea about analysis today. So the data is non-numeric and then multiple categories. What kind of analysis that you will do? Okay, same also with this. You got the data in a metric form. You want to test for differences. You got two groups, independence. So independent sample to test. So this kind of test we are going to explain after this. Don't worry so much because I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it directly. So that's mean I'm giving you a lecture and hopefully I can show you also how to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to repeat over and over again. Okay? Hopefully you understand now. If you don't understand, please stop me at any time. Okay? You want to stop me now? Also can. You want to go out, right? Okay, stop now. Stop lah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the simplified versions of the scale of measurement. So this one, I believe, maybe you don't understand yet. Never mind. I'm trying my best to make sure that you understand the t-test. We are using the dependent is interval and ratio scale. That's mean IQ, I get IQ is interval and ratio scale. And then I got two groups, which is the age more than 30 and the age less than 30. Only the K is equal to 2. Maksudnya group dia mestilah 2. So apa ujian statistik dia? So the statistical test that I need to conduct is the independent sample test. So therefore this table is meant to explain you that one. Of course you don't understand first lah. Never mind. Along this way, I'm going to explain to you what is the ANOVA, chi-square, Spearman-Rho correlation, Pearson product moment correlation, and last but not least is the regression. So this is just the example. I'm going to skip this because if I explain also, you do not understand at all. Okay. Then let us look into the next versions of our discussion. I'm going to use my colleague slides so that you can get clear understanding about the data analysis. So let us begin with the notes for statistic. So hopefully you can get something lah. This is adapted. Thank you for Puan Nur Azlin. I'm adapting from her what? Credit to her lah. Okay, so this is your ni kan. Cerita apa benda lah ni? Cerita dia sama je. Tapi saya bagi overview jugalah. Maybe some of you might want understand kan. Might asking what is this thing. The aim of the research is basically the knowledge and research methodology and statistics. Okay, I just want to give you some highlight here for information lah. The thing yang I want you to have after this course, not this course lah, after you finish your graduation in this college, the main thing lah for me lah, is actually what you got as your hard skill. You know, your hard skill means that the ability for you to use computer, the ability for you to use a computer to make a scientific write-up. So that is a precious skill that you won't learn anywhere in the other colleges or in your healthcare setting. So please take that moment to learn it nicely. Don't just touch and go. Why? It is a wastage if you cannot learn it from your heart. So if you can learn it from your heart, it's much more easier for you to continue your studies. So that is another story. Another that is you can apply your knowledge to your healthcare setting. So for example, you want to identify which patients are much more critical or which patients are much more worthy to be explaining, or you want to describe a phenomena that happened in your clinics and whatsoever. So that is the functions of the statistic. I'm using the statistic for my works also. I'm not just talking to you just like this. I'm using statistic for my works. For example, when I'm giving testing, I'm giving quiz for my students, I also analyze all the question, whether the question is understandable or not understandable. So that's why all the questions that I provide under the scope of latihan is already being tested before I giving them into the SUP. You know that or you don't know? You don't know lah, of course lah, you don't know because you're not pengajar kan. But what I want to say is, until that extent, we use the statistic just to make informed decisions. Otherwise, people will say that how you get those numbers, how you can say like that. So all of the saying and all of the judgment and assumptions are made prior to have a knowledge of the research and statistics. So I'm not going to teach you how to become a researcher. No, of course. We are just want to make sure that you all have the skill inside your heart. So that skill you can utilize and help others. For example, sometimes in your healthcare setting, there are some researchers also from outside, from IQ, IMR, whatsoever that come, and then may seek your permission, not seek your permission, I mean collaborate with you. So when you have this kind of ideas, oh, the statistics is very important, the research is very important, so you can collaborate nicely with them. So that I think is very good approach for the Ministry of Health to embark the research and statistics in your in your syllabus. Okay, before this don't have Okay, this is course description, system methodology, it's a quality assurance program, evaluation statistics, overview of statistics, concept statistical analysis, descriptive statistics. So this is what I'm going to teach you today. But the difference is I'm going to teach you as simple as possible so that you understand the gist. Okay. Okay, the next one will be the inferential statistics. So this is what you are going to learn after this. So don't worry. All these things can be learned just a few seconds, not few seconds, not a few hours. You can understand already. And the last but not least is this assessment. You know about your assessment, right? Okay, your assessment are very useful lah. Don't worry so much because all of you will get good grades provided that you do whatever being asked by your coordinator. Okay, now let us look into some of these elements first before we move on into the specific descriptive analysis. So after this, I'm going to explain about the descriptive statistic. Okay, now I think I move on with my own slide lah. My own slide is what is a piece and a blank of sheet lah, like this. So now I'm going to explain to you about the descriptive statistic. So the first one, I need you to understand the descriptive statistics are being divided into three different important elements that I'm going to share with you. The first one is the MCT, the next one is the MD, the next one is the EDA, the next one is the normality. Okay, the normality. So the EDA here, I'm going to just explain to you is about frequency and percentage. That's all. Okay, faham kan? EDA is talking about the exploratory data analysis, focusing on the percentage and also frequency, numbers and percentage, proportion. Ini untuk data nominal. This one are being used for nominal data. For example, in your questionnaire, the first question you ask about the gender kan? Gender male or female. So that one is a nominal scale and therefore the way you want to present the data is just to show their frequency and percentage. That's all. Okay, finish. This one finish? Finish. We just skip. Okay, the next one is the MCT. The first one is the mean. For the mean is actually the formula is as follows. The sigma of the x divided by n. The sigma of the x is met by the sum total of your x divided by the n. For example, I got 5 number, 5, 5, 4, 3. So what is the mean? You total everything, 5 is 10, 10 times plus 4, 7, you got 17, right? So 17 divided by 4, you got something, right? 4 divided by 3 is 12, 4 divided by 4, okay, 4.25. Correct or not? Or you're not sure? Or you don't know? Or you forgot already where you put your calculator? Never mind lah. But you understand already, the mean is actually purata, or we call it average. Okay, that is the first one. Okay, the next one we are going to learn about the MD. MD is measurement of dispersion. Sorry, not MD. Mean mode. The next one is the mode. We are using the same thing, but the mode have the formula. The formula of the mode is n plus 1 divided by 2. For example, we got the same data set, 5, 5, 4, 3. So how we want to calculate the mode is very simple. You must arrange first. The first step is arrange. Arrange ascending. Ascending means that turutan menaik lah. So you got here 3, 4, 5, 5. So use the formula. The formula say that you got the number n, which is our number is 4, right? 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. So that means the number between number 2.5 is our median. So this is number 1, this is number 2. 2.5 here, 2.5 somewhere here. Betul tak? So take the 4 plus the 5 divided by 2. What you got? 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So this is our mode.